Damn! Skinny ass nigga. What the fuck? Damn! Skinny ass nigga. What the fuck? Alright. Chats, what's good? Beautiful, beautiful week. Upcoming week. And it's gonna be a big ass gap on the opening price. So let's be careful. Alright, let's go over the week. Okay, so what we're gonna be doing today is gonna be going over the week. Give the lesson one more time. Talk about some market profiles and give a pre-prediction on where I'm looking to buy on the upcoming day. Monday should have been no trading. So the lesson of the week is buy deep retracement, sell deep retracement, only buy between the 0.50% of the only buy between the 0.50% mark of the OTE to 0.886% mark of the OTE. I do not trade the day before from C plus confidence or from C minutes until further notice, until I'm more advanced. I only trade failure swings and total soups and rejection blocks only. For the failure swing, there must be a SMT divergence present to give us a hint that the high or low is topped or bottomed. The next lesson is we must care about the market profiling more. Market profiling should be the market profiling should be and will be our highest priorities when we are trading, because that helps you withdraw liquidity, that helps you knowing when and where to get in, and that helps you with the if then principle, that helps you where how the order flow is in the lower time frame. Is it resisting lows, breaking highs, or is it resisting highs, breaking lows, or bullish gaps being respected or disrespected? That right there is told through market profiling. And the next lesson is that when SMT divergence is present, the rejection block will play a role as an ERL when the SMT divergence is present. So when SMT divergence is present, the ERL will play as a role as a ERL to IRL. And for OTE, we want to only buy deep retracement, only sell deep retracement. We want to buy low, sell high, never buy high, never sell low. So for OTE, we must overall mark out the whole OTE. So we cannot just, be glued to that specific day OTE. We must look overall in general, right? Look at the higher time. If you look at the hourly OTE, not just put that for that specific day. Look for that specific week, weeks OTE. Don't just look for that specific day. So look for OTE overall in general. Only buy between the 0.50% mark to 0.86 mark, because we're buying deep retracement, we're selling deep retracement. And the next lesson is that when I have a SMT with a different, when I have SMT with a 4-hour CRT or hour CRT, I'll look to enter on that 4-hour or hour CRT candle that I'm having SMT with. Pause. I'm going to be looking for that candle that I'm having SMT with. I'm looking to enter on that candle's rejection block, right? Because rejection block are a form of a total soup, total body soup, this way call it, right? Total soup, rejection block had people put their stop loss here. So if you go back to, as I said, to the no wick, you see right over here, sell side liquidity, right? Once again, another sell side liquidity there. relative equal lows here, right? Believe it or not, people put their stop loss like that. So yeah. So next thing is when we have an SMT divergence with a correlated asset, right? Let's just say our pair, we have SMT with a 4-hour CRT or hourly CRT. We're going to be using that 4-hour CRT or hourly CRT rejection block as an entry, because what does it do? Because rejection blocks are a form of turtle soup, and as well as it leaves equal highs or equal lows. So we're basically entering on a Philly swing. When there's an SMT with 4-hour CRT or hourly CRT, what is it doing? It's leaving a Philly swing. So we're predetermining a Philly swing by entering the rejection block itself. I can give you guys an example on what I mean. There was definitely a lot of examples yesterday. I was doing a lot of research as well. There was a lot of examples on. I even checked Romeo's trades. There's a lot of examples, right? I can show you guys an example, but I have to go all the way back in the fucking chart, which is not needed. And the next lesson is that we can trade past 11 a.m. reasonably, right? If it's Thursday and the market needs to close at a fair price, so markets go back up higher, so taking this trade would make sense. And another way would be if the market profile is there. If we're dumping below an old low and a bullish order flow, then eventually we could trade that, because that low, the old low, which that low broke up the high. So this low right over here, this low broke this high. This old low is an area point where market will have a high chance of a rejection. So we could use this specific price point as an area to take a trade on, right? Without worrying about the time aspect of being, it being in a, New York, it being in a PM session, right? With it being outside the kill zone. But the time of the week, the day of the week matters. The day of the week definitely does matter. Everything else, the time of the day doesn't really matter, but the day of the week matters a lot, because this day happened on Thursday. Says the constellation reversal. Market needs to go back up and wasn't a fair price. So this trade right here definitely made sense to take a trade on. So it was that. So we were only, if we're bullish, we want to buy below an old low, which that low that broke a high. If we're bearish, we want to buy above. We want to sell above an old high, that high that broke a low, and that right there would be a good position point right here. This is the low that broke the high, but that low isn't in a deep retracement, so we're taking this specific low and targeting this low for to the upside, and this will deliver beautifully to the target where we're going. So this is the weekly market recap. Pretty beautiful lesson. This whole week, this upcoming week, my goal is going to be buying. My goal is going to be focusing on OTEs and market profiles, right? So order flow and OTEs, because OTEs are just deep retracements, and market profiles. So this upcoming week, where I'm looking to buy, it's below this low, because what we have here, we have an OTE in the hourly time frame. Low, we have a low, high, lower low, higher high, premium discount. This is we only want to buy between the 0.50% mark to the 86 mark, and this candle, this low right over here is right on the 0. Let me get this. And this low right here is right on the 0.50% mark, and this one could be as well as our key level. Going for a time period is for assess liquidity. So you could see a dump straight down here, buy it up on a position, because that would make a lot of sense. And although I did say I'm looking for this week to be bearish, it gives me a lot of strong bullish side. The only reason why, how can I say this? The only reason why I made the last week retracement rule is because of the weekly CRT, right? So on the last week, we rule, if there is a IRL to ERL, right, but there's a weekly CRT going against it, we gonna go to weekly CRT because that's last week adjustment rule. So that would make much more sense. And I think on Monday I'm gonna go bullish here. It sounds way more better to be bullish on this day. We have a daily IRL to ERL, a daily CRT to the upside, a daily wick below because higher prices, as well as we have, all of that good shit. So now going to a higher time frame, weekly. We do have a weekly ERL to IRL, as well as a weekly CRT downside. But on the last week retracement rule, we are gonna have to be bearish on the last week retracement rule, but that's only when there's a CRT. So going back on the chart, the reason why we bearish on this specific day because of CRT. There's no fucking CRT this day, bro. But the lower time we were bearish. Salam alaikum assalam, my boy Tech. What's good, man? Oh boy, you want it bad enough, huh? How you doing? Bro, Bitcoin dumped. Yeah, bro, hit my stop loss, bro, because of fucking Iran and shit. Yeah, damn. I took like a I think $1,200 loss. It wasn't that much, right? Which is beautiful, bro. I was literally so close to my take profit, bro. My first partial was right on this order block. The start of the order block, which never got tapped. If iron retaliates, market gonna be choppy as hell. Bro, my shit. I mean, this is a good price point to buy here, bro. I mean, you gotta look at the higher time frame now, bro. You look at the monthly, the weekly. He already made the high of the week, so there's no point for it to go up higher. So he made the high of the month, which is this second week, which doesn't make sense for it to no longer to go up higher because he already made the high of the month, so it needs to go lower. So let's dump to the downside. It definitely makes sense through the monthly time frame open high low close concept, right? So this definitely did make sense. And there's a big ass gap that needs to be filled, right? It needs to be closing at a fair price. 3-month time frame, we do have the 3-month ERL. We can go back to IRL, a 3-month CRT to the downside. This could be a double purse as well. So it's gonna be an interesting week. Next month, I'm looking for bearish price action very hard. It's gonna be very, very hard bearish price action. Bearish movements next month. Next month should be a very. I feel like the next month should start the bear market, to be honest, bro. Because I'm out of most of my trades. The only trade I had left was ETH and Bitcoin, right? Everything else, I'm out. Because my strategy said that bear market is gonna end on the next month of 2025, which is the 4-year cycle of Bitcoin halving. That's what I go based by, but I don't think that's true. But he saved me last time, that's all that matters, right? That last time he saved me, so I'm gonna trust that again one more time, and until he proves me otherwise. But yeah. Okay, so weekly time frame. I'm this week I'm looking to be bearish, but at the start, let me bullish because last time when we did that, I was going through his ass. Oh yeah. Okay. What I want to do, I'm writing something down. Okay, so one second day. Yeah. Okay. Oh fuck. Oh okay. I thought bro something else set. Shit. Okay, so for the last week of the month, I should get right down a little later. But yeah. That's for overall. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is that? Alright, so let's see. Man, my Ethereum bugging due to the war. Hey, bro, I'm still my Ethereum trade, bro. I'm still up. I entered around 1,500, so I'm still holding. I'm holding from down here, bro. So I'm still chilling, right? I bought around this accumulation place. Oh, right around here. I want to buy down here, bro, but the fucking confirmation happened too late, bro. But hey, that's a good thing right here. This is a deep retracement right now at the moment in my eyes. Deep retracement. Swell got falsely broken. I bought the whole thing, not a market order. Holy. What do you mean by the whole thing? So you just bought at the I just around right over here. Looks like well AMD on a daily time frame. Yes, sir, bro. Accumulation. I mean, if you go to higher time frame, a little bit higher. I gotta see. This is 6 month, the highest time frame we have. I mean, yeah, we do have accumulation, reaccumulation, another reaccumulation, another reaccumulation. I mean, we have to go based on the ETH and Bitcoin dominant. Just right over here is what's gonna tell us how this is gonna perform in the 12-month time frame over 12-month accumulation, manipulation, shit like that. Right? Accumulation, reaccumulation, and we can have SMR from here. I mean, I bought the whole coin. I have 7 Ethereum. That's nice. That's nice. That's nice. But what price point though? What price point? So accumulation, reaccumulation, another reaccumulation. That's a pretty good fucking trade here, chat. Let's see if we can get some sort of a bigger dump on. I think, bro, we're gonna go back down to, bro. This may seem a little off, but I think we may go down here, bro. I think we're gonna reach, bro. That resistance is crazy over here. We're gonna reach back down to 1,700, bro. I mean, I don't know that until I see how my Bitcoin analysis goes, right? I'm a Bitcoin analysis says that I'm gonna go bearish. I'm gonna get out of my trade. I'm gonna re-enter when it goes back down here. But if it goes down here, goes a little down more, then because I'm doing like a 40x leverage. So it goes little, if it goes down lower to lower, it's gonna stop me out, right? And I don't want to risk me losing a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? So I may need to protect some profits. But before we do that, let me go to the Forex market and do a quick market forecast on crypto on Forex before we get it on there. So we have a weekly ERL back to IRL, this weekly order block. That's our key level. We as well have this weekly steer to downside, and we are in the last week of the month, so we want to go down low to make the low of the month. But before we do that, I want to see some bullish price action to the upside, because we have daily time, we have daily IRL right over here to ERL. We have a daily CRT right over here to the upside, as well as we have a daily wick below because higher prices, and that's what we have on a daily time frame. So let's see how that goes, and eventually I might go look for bearish price action because it doesn't look to be bearish here. Now going over to, I mean, you should definitely go bullish here, because if USD is having some sort of war, this should be going up, because, you know what I'm saying, economy looking at. Sorry. So this trade went to a lost 1,200, which is beautiful. I don't know why I didn't break even, but I don't fuck with break even, man. Last time I broke even, market tapped my entry and went away. I was like, I ain't doing that shit no more. If I look at the higher time frame now at this point, so we have 8 days until it's we have 8 days until this 3-month candle closure. Okay, we we definitely did make the high of the month, have the 3 month time frame. We didn't make the low of 3 month time frame. Okay, let's look at the mission of monthly here. We have a monthly ERL to potential IRL right over here, then go up higher, eventually then go lower. Because monthly time frame needs to make the low of the week, which is going to be potentially next week. Oh yeah, what the fuck? Shit. Monthly ERL to IRL is not going to be a fair value of the monthly time frame. We have a weekly CRT which got disrespected right now. Will we get a confirmation on the CRT or not? Probably not. We have a weekly ERL back to IRL, from IRL back to ERL. Wait, does this high had some sort of SMT? Wait, I think we did have SMT. Bro, we had SMT, what the fuck? So this weekly Richmond block played as a role at ERL. So we're going back from a IRL to ERL, from ERL back to IRL, which is probably gonna dump even harder next week. From here, we can go back from potentially back from IRL to ERL again. Damn, that's what the shit dumped, bro. What the fuck? Because we had a various SMT that verged with the quality asset. Oh, that's why. Hi. So we had SMT ERL back to IRL, which potentially can go even lower from here. Alright. That's why my position fucking. That's why my position fucked up. I was like, bro, it's so clear for it to go up higher. I just forgot to check fucking that bitch ass Ethereum. I mean, imagine Bitcoin goes to zero low, bro. That would be a very good buying opportunity, bro. If it goes down there, bro, I'm gonna spend everything, bro. Because, like, if it goes from $0 to $1, that's 100x return, bro. Think about it. Hey, we're gonna be a billionaire. A billionaire! But, alright, let me get my shit straight. Alright, welcome to a crypto market update. This week was been very interesting week. Market fully dumped. If there was a war between Iran and Israel and USA, I don't give a shit with the war, I ain't gonna lie to you. As long as there's an opportunity for us to make some money, that's all that matters. And this upcoming week, like a dump, was it because of the war? Yes, fundamentally, people say it was because of the war, but if you look at the technical ways, how they say, show me the chart, I'll tell you the news, right? They could say, as you see in the chart, there was a weekly SMT ERL back to IRL. So it didn't make sense for the market to go up higher than this because the market already made the high of the month. As you guys know, monthly influences the weekly influences the daily influences the 4 hour and hourly. So the monthly is as a as a day trader for the higher time frame matters a lot. So in the monthly time frame we had an open, we made a high which had SMT with the quality asset, which was Ethereum. Then eventually we're gonna have to make the low, so it needs to go down lower. And my position, actually, unfortunately, I lost 1,200 because of the. I didn't see the SMT. I was like, this is so clear to go up higher. I just forgot to check. I just forgot to check. Ethereum. So he fully reversed and hit my stop loss, which was only a 1,200. But I did try my stop loss up higher just to reduce that loss if it does go down there because I don't want to break even. If I break even, what I tend to see is market will. Hit my entry once again and eventually go up higher, which it did multiple times before going up higher here. If it goes to lower time frame, it tapped my entry more than 2 times before it went to my drawn liquidity, and eventually overall they go in a loss, in a small loss. But you know what I'm saying, the main point is to not break even, right? That's the main point. Because looking on the technical aspect of trading, there was a monthly SMT. So monthly time frame made the high. So open, monthly open candle right over here, monthly open, monthly candle high, and monthly candle close. It needs to make the low here, right? So open, high, low, and eventually needs to close somehow, right? So that's why this bearish price action happened now, because of, and not because of the war. The war is just a smoke screen. It just brings in volume. That's all that matters, right? You can see the big dump happened pretty quick, which is very nice because of the, you know what I'm saying, the war. But you could have predetermined this just through the technical analysis, right? So the war just brings in volume, which is very nice. So what do we have for this upcoming week for crypto, for BTC and ETH, XRP, Solana, Total 3, ETH, and Bitcoin dominance? I will highly likely see there being a closure for the next upcoming week. So next week we're probably going to see some choppy price action due to because of the war. No, this is where you add the fundamental. The reason I'm saying that is because of the, you go to the monthly time frame. The monthly time frame candle needs to close the next 8 days. If he needs to close the next 8 days, he needs to go make a low and come back up higher and reset for the next upcoming monthly candle and make this monthly fair value gap. And to go from monthly ERL back to IRL and etc. etc. They go up higher one more time. Then eventually the next month, which is gonna be that, you know, the start of the new 3-month candle, we could go up the high and eventually just dump low and start the new bear market, right? That's what I think should be happening, because the bull market usually lasts a year and a half or a couple of years, right? 2 to 3 years. In my, you know, perspective, I don't care about the bull market. I don't care how long it lasts. I care about when does a bear market start, which starts, in my perspective, next month, which should be the all-time high, and eventually should start dumping, as well as this is based on the halving, right? Halving cycle, which lasts around every 4 years. It comes around. Eventually, after it ends, the bear market can start. You know, the bear market bottom will be ticked in at the hole here. And so there's gonna be a hole here of bear market, right? That's all I gotta fucking know about. So next 3-month candle, I would highly see a monthly IRL back to ERL, eventually tap the 3-month CRT, eventually then go down lower to 3-month CRT low, which is the 75K mark, eventually start the bear market bar from there. I would likely see this fair value gap get inversed, then retap the fair value gap, then even go lower to 49K mark potentially. But this is primarily based on the technical side, right? Because through my experience, next month should be the end of the bull market cycle. So now going to the lower time frame to the weekly, which we have right at the moment. We have a weekly IRL right over here, back to ERL. Weekly IRL to ERL, the CRT can be suspected. So our new weekly CRT is going to be this candle. This is going to be our weekly CRT high. And our weekly CRT low hasn't been created yet, but I'm looking for this weekly CRT low to be soup. Eventually they go up higher, tap that 108K mark, tap the new all-time high. But I will highly likely see next week closing very choppy without moving too much, because it just needs to manipulate a lot of traders. And eventually the next week after that, when the new start of when the new monthly candle, the 3-month candle comes around, then I'm saying I want to see some bullish price action, tap that all-time high, that eventually just dump lower to start off the bear market. But yeah, that's what we have for Bitcoin. We have a weekly IRL to ERL. Why do I say this ERL, not this candle? Because this SMT, and it's we call it, because through price action details, right? As you guys know, Richmond block will cause a retracement, which it did cause a retracement, and eventually now we're looking to target the high of the Richmond block, which is right over here, which that's why we're saying from this weekly IRL to this weekly ERL instead of saying this weekly ERL, right? So all we're waiting for is this weekly candle to close, waiting for this low to get soup, and eventually going to up over to the high I mean, our first next week is probably going to be a choppy week, consolidate a lot, then eventually see some bullish pressure after that week. But yeah, that's what I have for Bitcoin. Now going over to ETH and Bitcoin dominance. Why do I say that, by the way? Why do I say next week is probably going to be a choppy week? Look at the monthly time frame. The monthly time frame needs to close, right? In the next 8 days. So since it needs to close in the next 8 days, it needs to make a low and close and reset. When it closes and reset, it usually retraces. Then it just chops around until the close. Now going over to Bitcoin and ETH dominance. We have at the moment, if the market could retrace to this monthly IRL, we go back from the monthly IRL to monthly ERL. But it all depends on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes down, everything else goes down. So Bitcoin needs to go down lower, which if it does go down lower, we could use this monthly CRT right around here as a point push up higher. So I would likely want to see, going back to Bitcoin once again, a weekly CRT, a monthly CRT low getting soup, monthly IRL to ERL back, as well as a monthly CRT low getting soup to the monthly high, right? Same thing to Ethereum. Monthly IRL to ERL, as well as increase a monthly CRT. So we could potentially expect it to go up higher. But now go down to lower time frame for Ethereum. We do have this weekly CRT. I do want to see that 50% mark get tapped right on here, which it just got tapped. You can see that 50% mark of the weekly CRT just got tapped, which is usually a threshold. And going back to Bitcoin once again, because if Bitcoin goes down, everything else goes down. If Bitcoin goes up, everything else goes up. So it all matters on Bitcoin. Right over here, Bitcoin. Next week, it's anticipated to be a little bullish week, just to soup out the low and close at a fair price, which needs to go up a little higher. So I would highly likely want to see this candle right over here. We want to see this candle get created, soup up the low, go up higher, eventually then go back down lower, doing another soup down, because this candle needs to close the next 8-day candle, right? Eventually, you have to go from monthly IRL back to ERL, which market needs to go back down lower, which when it does go down lower, we could potentially buy around somewhere around 2K mark to 1.7K mark. So this weekly CRT is probably not going to get respected. I would want to see a deeper retracement down, because Bitcoin will go down lower before it goes up higher. So if it does go down lower, everything else will go down lower. So we probably will see this what is it called, this 1700 mark getting tapped potentially, but not very high likely, because if Bitcoin goes down a little lower, this is not going to go all down to 1,700, right? Probably going to go down to 2,000, eventually get some support there, eventually go up higher with Bitcoin. Now going over to XRP. We have had this monthly CRT. For a long time, as well as a 3-month CRT. 3-month CRT look at soup. We're going 3-month CRT high, but if Bitcoin go down, everything else will go down with it. So I do want to see some sort of OT happen here in the daily time frame. So deleting all of this. We have a 3-month CRT here, so we don't really give a shit about that. We could see some sort of low, high, lower, low, higher, high. We could see some sort of deep retracement down to the 79 to 886, because if Bitcoin goes down, everything else goes down. Eventually from here, we could potentially bounce back up higher and make a new all-time high, then eventually start the bear market, because if the bear market is going to start, it wants everybody to be bullish, right? Just a general rule of thumb. You want people to be euphoric and think, okay, you're on top of the world, then eventually the bear market starts. And when everybody's greedy, that's when you should sell. When everybody's feared, that's when you should buy, right? So everybody's right now is feared because of the war. But don't buy right now. Don't cast a falling knife. Wait for it to stop and give you some context. Wait for Bitcoin to give you some context before you decide anything else. going to Solana. I did not take this trade. I was just waiting for some sort of confirmation, but I never got the execution on this. But yeah, I did have this trade up, but I didn't execute on it. So yeah. Oops. So for Solana, what we have here is going. Oh shit! No, that's not them. We go to the higher time frame. We have this 3-month CRT, 3-month CRT low got soup, and we also have 3-month key level. So we could potentially expect some sort of a deep OTE just as XRP. So delete this chart because we have a 3-month CRT there, so there's no need of that. We can potentially expect the market to go back down to 0.70 mark, 0.79 mark, do a deep retracement on the OTE, then eventually go up higher from here, attacking new all-time high, or even not. Bitcoin wants to go down, everything will go down. It doesn't need to wait for any other coins, right, to catch up. So now going over to total 3. Same thing here. We have a 3-month CRT here, 3-month IRL, 3-month CRT to the upside. So going down to the daily, we're essentially expecting the same thing here. We're expecting a deep retracement. OTE. I want to see that 79 mark to get tapped potentially to go up higher, because Bitcoin needs to still go down lower before going up higher. So that will probably get met. Now going to Bitcoin and ETH and Bitcoin dominance. On the 12-month time frame with Thomas CRT, this is a monthly market maker model, accumulation, reaccumulation, right? Accumulation, reaccumulation, another reaccumulation. Eventually you can have some sort of SMR. And as well, we have a monthly order block supporting this 12-month CRT, which is a monthly model 1. You got tapped right now. Eventually what we could do here, we could respect it, go up higher. But if Bitcoin's gonna go down, everything else will go down. But once Bitcoin gains momentum to the upside, ETH is probably going to outperform it. It's the altcoin. Right? If Bitcoin goes up, everything else goes up, but harder, right? Simple. So what do we have on a monthly time frame? We have a monthly order block here, supporting the price, which could get respected. Damn, I can't speak straight. Which could get respected and push price up higher, right? But this is the only time it's going to get respected if Bitcoin shows some bullish price action, right? That's the only time it can get dominance, right? Once that happens, ETH is highly likely to outperform Bitcoin, right? Although he's jumping harder, but as a general rule of thumb, if Bitcoin goes up, everything else goes up higher, right? So harder, pause. I've said this so many times now, but yeah, this is my crypto market update. Thank you for watching. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, join the description below, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out. Damn, I couldn't talk straight, bro. Brother, sound what is it? Sound problem? Oh shit, a sound problem here? No way. I did all that shit yapping for no reason. Hold up. My boy said, yo, what's good, my boy Xtoshi? Does it sound good? I don't think it's, I'm looking at OBS Studio right now. It sounds perfect. Yo, bro, what's good, my boy? Trader, what's good? Work, cooked hard? Bro, he cooked my shit hard, bro. I should have gotten out, bro. I thought I was gonna go up high, gonna be very clean. Shit, all good? Oh, yes, sir. Bet that. And y'all ready for the new upcoming week, bro? It's just gonna be a lot of volume. And for Eero, I'm looking to buy on this low. So from now on forward, I'm gonna be doing a anticipation beforehand, right? So I'm looking to buy below this low. This low is right on a deep retracement, as well as with a bullish order flow. So buying below this low is very nice. And I've changed my last week retracement rule, because the last retracement rule, it'll help us get, you make our brain just stick to one without it being free will. So what we're gonna do for the last week retracement rule from now on forward, using that higher time frame as a proof, what we're going to be doing is the last week retracement rule is simply just going to use, what we're simply going to do, we're going to use the last week retracement rule as a weekly CRT. So in the last week, if there's a weekly CRT, we can use that weekly CRT without we can use that weekly CRT without, how would I say it in English? Um, in the last week of the month, if there is a weekly CRT, we could use that weekly CRT without worrying about the weekly IRL to ERL or weekly or weekly, whatever. Because the last week of Chase Mural, we don't have to wait for the weekly IRL to ERL, or because the last week of the month, they could be a weekly C to the downside, but they could be a weekly IRL to ERL, right? Weekly IRL to ERL, but we had a weekly CRT to the downside, so we are bearish. Although it says weekly IRL to ERL, we're still bearish because of the weekly CRT to the downside, and we can target the 50% mark, then eventually anticipate some bullish price action from there on forward. So on the last week of the month, what we're going to be looking for is, if there's a weekly CRT, we're going to be going with that weekly CRT without worrying about the weekly IRL to ERL or weekly CRT upside or whatever, right? So yeah, that is the lesson. That's a new thing we're doing, because well, if we just focus on taking retracement, just taking a reversal trade on last week of the month, that's gonna get us one-minded way of thinking, and that's gonna fuck up our brain. That's gonna be like, yeah, I can only take shorts, and so it will now look in the bull side, which, because the bull side will make much more sense, right? So we want to have the free will. We need to be more picky. We need to be we need to trade less, and we need to trade higher probability, right? So that's why we have that rule set up. That's why we define that rule, to make it better. Damn, my speaking is fucked up today for some reason. But let's check out the Forex calendar. What's up with the Forex calendar? We have news this whole week. We have news on Monday. We have Euro GBP news, 9:45 a.m. news with PMI. Tuesday, 10 a.m. news, Fed Chair Powell testifies. Wednesday, we have Fed Chair Powell testifies. Thursday, we have 7 a.m. news and 8:30 a.m. news. Final unemployment claims. Friday, we have 8:30 a.m. news. All right. An interesting week, upcoming week. But I'm looking to, so the market goes down here. I'm looking to long it up to the upside. Let's hope it's in a New York session. If it's not a New York session, it's gonna be interesting. But I do want to see market open lower. It will be nice if it can open down. If it can open down lower, to long it up from this low. But this low right over here is on the OTE, on the 0.50% mark to 0.86 mark of the OTE, so which is a pretty good place to long it up, which is the only time we long it up. But I'm done. I don't know how, somehow my mouth speaking is shit if I didn't talk in the day.